Hi guys, hope you're doing really well. So, Anchorman 2, best described as a painful experience, both when it's being funny and when it's not. Like the first movie, there's long tracks where you're just kind of wincing, hoping that Will Ferrell and the team, all very talented people, can eventually get the act together and start delivering something funnier than just shouting incoherent nonsense as if they've been kicked in the cojones. A lot of the movies delivered in this kind of wincing, just shouting streams of nonsense stuff, and it really is a pity to see people with that kind of talent throwing it away in junior school playground antics. I know the movie isn't setting out to be Citizen Kane and it's about silliness, but it should also be funny. Having said that, there are many bits in the movie. Before we get to the funny bits, let's also cover some of the other bits that to me were entirely unsuccessful. By the way, this is in the context that the whole movie is nothing like as bad as I was led to believe by many of the critics. It sets out to do some interesting things insofar as it's talking about mass-mindedness and the corporate greed that's overtaking the duty of the third estate of the media to provide checks and balances on politicians and to keep corporations accountable and so on and so forth, and laments the fact that the media has become a circus whereby corporate interests can, just pay for whatever messages they want. That's all fine. And then also they're attempting to make a satire on the sexism and racism inherent in the media in the 80s, personified by the gormless Ron Burgundy. Now, those things that's all fine, it's all interesting, but they're just not done with any humour. There's a couple of scenes that I found really quite excruciating, one of which attempts to deal with the class of, Ron Burgundy's racial ignorance. And this is set up at a dinner party scene when he goes to his girlfriend's parents. And it really was far from being funny at all. And therefore, if you're dealing with edgy kind of content like that, you really need the sugar to sweeten the pill. Additionally, a lot of the stuff on a lot of the interchanges between him and his girlfriend are kind of like, okay, we get it, you're a moron, you're a racist, you don't realise it, but it's smart actually to listen to. And I'm not saying that with a politically correct agenda. I'm not a particularly... let me try that again. I'm not a particularly politically correct person, I hope. But the humour itself was just sadly lacking. On to the positives. Marvellous sequence where there's a tumbling crash in a Winnebago. You've just got to see that. Visually very accomplished, but just above all, bloomin' funny. A nice scene where Steve Carell's character is re-established, attending his own funeral and lamenting his own death. That beautifully sets up the idiocy and lunacy of that character. And there's also a couple of reiterations of the big set pieces of the first movie, namely, of course, the fantastic gangland fight between all the different rival TV news groups. And again, that's done well, and they up the ante by having various celebrity cameos in it. So overall, very much the same as the first movie. Very funny moments. In retrospect, large tracks of it are just not working. They tried to redo the Jazz Flute Odyssey, which is one of my favourite bits from the first movie, but they didn't really add anything particularly fresh and interesting to that, in my estimation. So yeah, not worth the fuss, not worth the hype. If you're having a relaxing night in and you're happy to wade through, I'd say, over half of the movie not being funny, you will be rewarded with some belly laughs, some tears, if zany and bonkers is your kind of thing. Probably one of the most interesting scenes in the whole movie is a familial plain song, a lament for a departed shark. And although that didn't make me laugh, it made me sit up because it was one of the strangest things I've seen for a long time. Anyway, off to see Guardians of the Galaxy very soon with a couple of friends, so I'll give you a wee report on that for what it's worth. Let me know your thoughts and reviews if you've seen anything good, seen anything awful. Of course, we'd love to hear that. Coming up just after this, a quick review of American Hustle. All the best, guys. Bye.